Hi, brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 31 in Deuteronomy. Let's have a party in the right place. That's what our passage is about today. There's going to be three recurrent and one new principle. So we've been looking at the practices that the Israelites are supposed to be doing, the person they're supposed to be doing them to, that's the Lord. Kind of a new one today, that they're supposed to be rejoicing and having a party. And then the last old one is they're supposed to be doing it in a particular place. So, first thing is about the law, the practices. The Lord is saying, be careful to do what I've made clear in the law, and don't do certain things. You shall not do according to what was done before, everyone doing what was right in his own eyes. And everybody should be bringing offerings and sacrifices and tithes and worship to the Lord. Second thing, principle that we've been kind of going over again and again is the person. Got to destroy the false gods, worship the own God. Be careful how we worship, and especially who you worship. And then the other little point today, kind of a new one, is this is supposed to be a feast. This is supposed to be a party. So feast with some of the sacrifices that you're bringing. Verse 7 that we'll get to here in a second says, and there you shall eat before the Lord your God, and you shall rejoice. Then in verse 12, you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you and your sons and your daughters. So yes, experience the fear of the Lord, but also the fun of the Lord. So we're going to be reading today from Deuteronomy chapter 12. I'm going to start in verse 1. These are the statutes and rules that you should be careful to do in the land of the Lord, the God of your fathers, who has given you to possess all the days that you live on the earth. Now he's going to talk about practices. You shall destroy all the places where the nations whom you shall dispossess serve their gods, on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green tree. Then the person, make sure you get the person that you worship correctly. You shall tear down the altars and dash into pieces their pillars and burn their asherim with fire, the poles that they worshipped. You shall chop down the carved image of their gods, the idols, and destroy their name out of that place. You shall not worship the Lord your God in that way. So don't worship the wrong guy and don't do it the wrong way. And then he's going to talk about the place here, which is going to be my last point. But you shall seek the place that the Lord your God will choose out of all your tribes to put his name and make his habitation there. There you shall go, and you shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices. So he's going to talk about the practices here. Your tithes and the contributions that you present, your vow offerings, your freewill offerings, your firstborn herd, and the firstborn of your herd and your flock. There you shall eat before the Lord your God. And here's this party part. That you shall rejoice, you and your households, in all that you undertake, in which the Lord your God has blessed you. You shall not do according to all that we are doing here today, everyone doing what is right in his own eyes. Now, during this last part, I want you to watch for the place. That's the big point for today, is worshiping in the right place. You shall not do according to all that we're doing here today, everyone doing what is right in his own eyes. That's verse 8. Then verse 9. For you have not as yet come to rest and to the inheritance that the Lord your God is giving you. But whenever you go over the Jordan and live in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to inherit, when he gives you rest from all your enemies around so that you live in safety, then to the place that the Lord your God will choose, to make his name dwell there, there you shall bring all that I commanded you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithe, and the contribution that you present, and all your finest vow offerings that you vow to the Lord. Verse 12. And you shall rejoice before the Lord, you and your sons and your daughters. So there's that party part. Your male servants, female servants, and the Levite who is within your town, since he has no portion or inheritance with you. Take care that you do not offer your burnt offerings at any place you see fit, but at the place that the Lord will choose in one of your tribes. There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all that I am commanding you. So the Lord cares about the place. Now, for the Jews at this time, there was a place for God. It was his choice, not just any old place, his choice. His habitation is the thing that makes it holy. He puts his name there. He puts his habitation there. He's made his home with mankind. And he's decided to occupy a place. God from heaven has decided to occupy a place here on the earth. And your job is to seek that place that the Lord has chosen. So don't you think it's a good idea to choose to join him there? He's tabernacling with us. And shouldn't we not tabernacle with him? He says in the passage, there you shall go. It's like, oh, of course, duh. So much of the Old Testament is obsessed with where's God? And for a lot of that, it's where's the ark? You remember in the last chapter, Moses actually builds an ark out of acacia wood, puts the 2 tablets in there, and it represented for a long time the geographical location of God on the earth. So there's this recurrent obsession in the Old Testament with the location of God in the tabernacle, in the temple, and finally in the city of Jerusalem, and later the Temple Mount, and then the Western Wall. We used to call it the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. Now, so what's the big deal with the Western Wall? Well, it's the closest geographical original ancient structure that's still intact, that's most near, it's actually about 3 blocks away, to the Temple Mount, which is God's inhabitation on the planet. So all we have is the Western Wall. We don't have the temple anymore, so people revere the Western Wall. That's where the respect for the Western Wall comes from, is from the temple, which was the location of God. So the Lord says, but you shall seek the place that the Lord your God will choose out of all your tribes to put his name and make his habitation there. So no wonder the Western Wall is so revered. The point here is that we are supposed to be seeking the place that the Lord inhabits, that the Lord put his name. The Emmanuel, God with us, Jesus eventually comes down to physically join us on this planet, and it's hinted here in this place for God in the Old Testament. So today we find Jerusalem historically interesting, but it's not the dwelling place of God on earth anymore. So where is that? Now it's in the souls of believers. Now we don't have to work hard to seek the place, for it's not far, it's right here. Today we seek the person of God in the place that he chooses to occupy. So today we don't seek the place that the Lord inhabits because that's nearby. We seek the presence of God, the very person of God who's present in that place. Thanks for listening.